能听见吗？把这个给它灯开开，亮不亮？是吧？可以了。不是在镜头里吗？可以了。Hello, everybody. This is Howard from Jianzhi Casting Group. Today, this is my first video to show you Jianzhi pipe fittings. We talk about for the pipe fittings. You are just so thinking, what is the pipe fittings? So I will show you some fittings to you. About the fittings is about if we use the pipelines, we need to use these pipe fittings to divide the waters and or gas into the different directions, such as for the elbows and also for the teeth, for the socket. Usually, if the diameter, this is the outside diameter, is less than 2 inch, we usually use threaded pipe fittings. And also, if the diameter is over 2 inch above, we usually use welding fittings. And also, for the firefighting system, we usually use groove fittings. So today, I will introduce the purpose of application for the different pipe fittings. So first one, I will introduce this one. Okay, no. First one, I will introduce our main products. This is for the galvanized pipe fitting. This is for the galvanized pipe fitting. And this one is for black malleable iron pipe fitting. This kind of pipe fitting is our main products. The material is malleable iron. The malleable iron is have a good tensile strength and elongation. It can be used in the many different applications, such as water, gas system, and also especially for the gas and for the waters. Even for the drinking water, it is no problem. For the treatment, we have a different. This silver color is galvanized. Galvanized means we use the zinc coating on the surface of the fittings. And for this one, it is for the black. So you can see this is for the natural color. For the natural color is black color. And we use the zinc for the coating. We call it hot dipped galvanized or electric galvanized coating on the surface will be like this one. So by the galvanized coating, the fitting will be have the good rusty, anti-rusty, and also even in the inside of the fittings, the zinc also have the zinc coating. It also can be protect your fittings, can be long lifetime. For this kind of fittings, the lifetime can at least last 50 years. So it is very long history or long time for the lifetime. So this is for the direction. See, for example, for the water or for the gas, this is for the inside. It is input, and this one is output. It has the two entries, so it can be change the direction of the gas or water. Okay, so now I'll show you another one. This one. Yes, this is for the teeth. The teeth means this is for the main branch, the main. But the gas water need to divide it into the different directions. So we need use the teeth. And also we have this one. This one. Yes, this one is for the cross. and T. So this can be divided into another 3 directions. This one is divided into another 2 directions. So this one is one. This one we call it T, and this is cross. Okay, let me follow me. I will show you the usage for the different elbows, for different fittings. Usually we call it fittings. We need to check the stress. The stress is this one. This one stress we can see this is outside stress, but we don't call it outside stress. It is not so professional. So we usually use the external stress, or also we can call it for the male thread. And for the inside thread, we also don't say this is the inside thread. We also usually use internal thread or female thread. So if you see the fittings, you can see they may have this one, female threads, and this one is male threads. For this teeth, all threads is female threads. Female threads. So usually we call it, this is the female thread, the T. But what's the difference, this one? The difference. The difference, so I can show you this one. Okay, this one. This one is the 3 types, but it views the different for the different application. This one is, we call it for the coupling or socket. They have the both ends. The both ends is female thread. And this one is also, we call it socket or coupling, but this one is how male and female thread. So you can see the difference. They are the same. They are the same size. I think it is yes, one inch. 1 inch. This one is 1 inch. This also is 1 inch. So they are the same, but used for different, because this one must be used for the female threads, and this one is also female threads, but this one is have 2 threads. This is for the male threads, and this one is for female threads. Okay, and what's the usage for this one? For example, maybe you for the pipeline. For the pipeline, usually for the pipeline is the bigger, or the diameter is much bigger. But if the pipe is connected into your indoors, or maybe in duct connected into the rooms, the diameter will be much smaller than outside. So they must to reduce the diameter of the pipes. So connect the different diameter, the pipes, we also use this kind of socket or this kind of fittings. This kind of fittings we call it reducing. Reducing means that this is the diameter. This diameter is much bigger, but this one is much smaller. We use this kind of fittings to exchange the different diameter of the pipes. So we call this kind of fittings is for the reducing. So for reducing, it is for the socket reducing, or you can see reducing socket or socket reducing. It is no problem. I will show you some different reducing. Okay. Reducing this one. Okay. This one. Yes. So you can see, this is for the T. This is T is quite different from this one. Not only the surface, because this is for the galvanized, this is for the black, but the most difference is for the different diameter or different output the diameter. This T, we call it for the equal. This is the equal. The equal diameter, equal diameter, equal diameter. This is 3 output is same diameter. But this one, it is very obviously and very clear. You can see this is much bigger and this one is much smaller. So we call it reducing T. And this one, this is for the elbow. You can see it is also different. This one is bigger, this one is small. So we call it reducing elbow. So once the fittings have different diameters, to connect the different diameters, we must use the reducing fittings. If for the elbow, it means reducing elbow. If for the teeth, we call it reducing teeth. If for the socket, we call it reducing socket. So you can see this is for the different applications for the fittings. Okay. For the different directions, we also have can be this one, and this one, and this one. This one is for the direction is a little difference. Oh, you can see this one. This is for the 90 degrees, but this one is 45 degrees. Yeah, so this is a direction, different direction. This one is 49. No, this one is 90. This one is 45. Okay, so this is, you can see, this is different. It's different, it means if we connect the different pipes, or this one, we connect the 2 pipes together. We use this kind of fittings, we call it nipples. This is nipples. And then this one is, we call it for the bushing. A bushing means it have a different diameter. For the male threads, it has the bigger diameter. And for the inside, it's for the female thread, it has smaller diameter. So we call it bushing. This bushing means it can also be reducing. But reducing is with the different male and female threads. So usually we use, because for the pipe fittings is the big name. But for the different fittings, we have a special name, such as elbow, T, cross, elbow, T, cross, socket, nipples, bushing. So this is for the different names for the fittings. So just now I introduced all the fittings be made of a malleable iron. This is the material. So you can know if you use for the pipe fittings, you will face, if you go to the hardware shops or some wholesalers, they will sell different pipe fittings. Maybe you have plastic pipe fittings or PVC pipe fittings, or maybe you can see the brass fittings, or maybe you can see other materials. So today I will show you different 3 or 2 fittings be made by ductile iron, or also by carbon steels, or forged steels. So first one, I will introduce this one. Yes. Yes. This one, yeah. So this one is, you can see it is quite different with this one. Quite different. What's the difference from this one and this one? Firstly, you can see it is much bigger wow, we can see it is it is already 6 inch. 6 inch, this is already 6 inch. This one is to 3 inch. So this is, we also can be see it reducing socket. This is the first one. For this malleable iron pipe fittings, it is threaded, but they cannot make so much bigger. It is so much bigger. But for the connection, it is used for threaded. And this one is used for glued. You can see, oh, they have a slot. Have a slot to connect the pipes. So this kind of fittings, we call it groove fittings. We also call it row groove fittings. This kind of, you can see, oh, the color is also different. This one is silver. This one is for red or original, or orange. These two colors, this one can be used for firefighting system, and this one is for the water system. It is another difference. And for groove fittings, the big difference is means for groove fitting, it can be connected for a much bigger diameter. And for smaller pipes, usually can be used for threaded galvanized malleable pipe fittings. Usually it can be connected to below 2 inch or 2.5 inch. And if connect to the bigger, especially to 12 or 10 inches, we suggest to use groove fittings. For groove fittings is much be popular in firefighting, especially for the building, for the higher building over 30 floors or 20 floors, because they have very strict requirement for firefighting. So usually we use groove fittings to protect the fire, protect your buildings against the fire. So usually for the fittings, it has to be FM. This is FM, and this is UL certification. This kind of two certification is the highest certification in the world. Most countries can accept this kind of certification. If the fittings have this kind of certification, it means the quality is qualified by the highest institution or team. So you can use this, no problem. So this is for the groove fitting. For groove fittings, the material is also different with this one. This material is malleable iron. This one is ductile iron. For the ductile iron, it means the hardness and the tensile stress and also elongation is much bigger than this one. Yes, so this is also different. And the working pressure, this one is 2.5 MPa, and this one is usually can be used 1.6 or 2.0 or 2.5 MPa, no problem. For groove fitting, we also have so many styles. So many styles. This is T's. This is T's. And also we must have this one, FM and UL certification. This one. Can see. Usually you can check your supplier whether they have such certification files. This is for UL, for FM file. Okay. And this one is for UL. Yes, you can check whether your suppliers have such certification files. For groove fitting, I also have this color. We have different colors, like this one and this one. Yes, so this one is we used for drinking water. And also the surface treatment is different with this one. This one is like painting, like color painting. We use the red color to paint it, to spray paint it, this one. And this one, the surface is, you can see it is very shining and very smoothly. It is the good protection to avoid dusting, it is very good anti-dusting. The surface is we use for the epoxy. Epoxy is very good material to protect the fittings against dusting. So if you want the fittings with high quality or good quality, in the white area, you can use this one. This is the epoxy coating. This is the rigid coupling. Rigid coupling is very popular in the groove fittings. Very popular because if you connect the two pipes together, you will use coupling. I think it is very popular. If you place order, I think 1/4, maybe 25% will be rigid couplings. For rigid couplings, it also have different colors. This is the painting, and also you can use the epoxy. And this one, you can see it is silver color like this one. Same. It is for also hot dipped galvanized groove fittings. This is hot dipped malleable iron pipe fittings. This one is hot dipped ductile groove fittings. See? Okay, so you can see we have so many styles. We also can use, this is for elbow. Yes, this is for elbow. This is for a 4-inch elbow. Yes, the connect is grooved. And this is, this one is 45 degrees elbow. 45 degrees elbow. This one is 22.5 degrees. This is for flange. Okay, so now I introduced for the malleable iron material pipe fittings and also for the ductile material iron pipe fittings. So next one I will show you some most popular for the fittings is for the carbon steel fittings. Okay. This is also for elbow. This is for the sockets. So you can see it's a little difference from groove fittings or malleable iron pipe fittings. There is no stride. And also there is no groove. There is no groove slot. So how it's connected with the pipes? We use welding. We use welding to connect it to different diameters for the pipes. So for the welding, so this material is also different. So for elbows, this one. This is for malleable iron. This is for the carbon steel. Malleable iron, carbon steels. And this one connected by threads. And this one connected by welding. And for groove fittings, connected by groove. So connection is different. And the material is also different. This one is ductile iron. This one is carbon steel. And this one is malleable iron. So this is different material, different connection ways. This one is also we used for welding. So if, for example, if you can ask us, so for different fittings, you can tell us, so which material you want. You want welding, threaded, or glued, and how many thickness for the welding fittings you should tell us, because if you sell this kind of fittings, your consumer or customer will ask you, what's your thickness, SCH 40 or SCH 20 or STD. So you need to check whether your consumer or customer want the wall thickness. You see, this one is carbon steels, this one is malleable irons, and this one connected by threads, and this one connected by welding. For welding, for carbon steel welding fittings, it can be made very large diameters. For example, you can image 500 or 500 mm, 500 mm or 1000 mm diameter. It also can be welding. So for the much bigger diameter size, the pipes we suggest use for welding. Okay, so now I introduced the three materials. One is malleable iron, second one is for the ductile iron, the third one is for carbon steels welding. So the final one I will introduce, this one is for the forged steels. This one. So you can see this is for the forged steels. For forged steels, if you just see the outlook, you will see it is so heavy, it is so strong. You can compare with malleable iron. You can see the wall thickness is quite different. This is much thicker, and this one is like thinner. The connector is same, the threaded. But why we must make so thick fittings? Because it is be used in the special area or special machines or special connections, because they must face very high pressure compress. For example, for this one, usually can be 300 psi or 2.5 MPa. For this one, it can be used at least 2,000 or 3,000, and even 6,000 or 9,000 psi. So it can be used in a high pressure conditions. If your customer or if your machine or if your special devices need very high pressure fittings, you can think about for the forged steel fittings. Forged steel fittings is also being made by carbon steels. Usually we use A100 or usually A105 carbon steels. So this is for the forged steel fittings. For forged steel fittings, it also can be used for the different names. This is forged steel's elbow, this is teeth, and also this is the nipples. So if you want to buy some high pressure fittings, you have to tell us how many PSI you want. For example, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 6,000, or 9,000. So you can tell us how many PSI you want, and so we can give you the solution for this one. For connection, there have two connections. For this one, connection is for threaded. It's like like this one. Like malleable iron pipe fittings is also connected by thread. This one is also by thread. But for the thread forged steels, it cannot last very high pressure. For example, if your customer want 9,000 PSI, I think you have to use this one. This one there's no thread inside, but it can be connected by socket and to welding. So this one is to use the welding to protect your devices or machines from the high pressure. So for forged steels, it has two connections ways. One is for thread, another one is for welding. Yes. So today I introduced some fittings from the fittings applications, and also for the fittings different names. We know for the fittings elbow, teeth, socket, and also cross, bushing. So, and also I introduced for the 4 materials. The first one is for malleable. Malleable iron we can use. This one is for the galvanized. This one is for the black natural color. The second one I introduced for the ductile iron. Ductile iron is also be used for a bigger diameter than malleable iron. The connector width is used for the groove and for groove, and also it has the teeth, the cross, socket, and couplings. So especially this one can be used for firefighting system. The third one I introduced for the carbon steel welding fittings. Carbon steel welding fittings. Carbon steel welding fittings, this one is, I think, is more popular because it can be welding. Welding is easy, especially for the much bigger pipes. For welding is more popular than groove fittings or threaded because they cannot make so large diameter. The final I introduced another one is for the forged steels. For the forged steels, for forged steels is used for high pressure, especially from 2,000 psi or 3,000 psi or even to the 9,000 psi. Because if your customer want 2,000 psi, this cannot be used. This and also cannot be used because for ductile iron, the most psi will be 500 psi. But if you want over 1,000 or 2,000, have be used forged steels. So, okay. So nice to meet you all. If you have any question, you can leave your questions at our belows. I will check and reply you one by one. And my assistant will give my contact information as our belows. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. I'm Howard. So see you next time. Bye-bye.